Hi there. My name is Jamie Molnar, and I am a licensed mental health counselor, a registered yoga teacher, and a qualified supervisor in the state of Florida. And I am the owner and founder of Be Your Best Self and Thrive Counseling. And welcome to our website. I'm so excited you're here. This is a space where we talk about all kinds of topics related to mental health and wellness, right? All the different ways in which we can be well. We specialize in particular in holistic mind, body, spirit approaches to mental health, right? So we really believe in the power of the mind body connection, as well as the importance of having that spiritual identity as well. So our practices are very integrative, and we really explore all the different ways that we can be well, and all the different ways that we can take care of our mental health. And so we enjoy talking about that. You'll notice in the blog, we have a ton of different topics that we explore. But today I wanted to talk about something specific. And this is based on a question that I get a lot, and people kind of curious about it. So I thought I would do a video and just talk about it. And really it's about for clients, right? If you're seeking any kind of mental health, which should I choose, right? Why would I choose a private practice, maybe a more expensive kind of treatment option over something like Talkspace or BetterHelp, where I get a lot of ads for them, right? They seem legit, they seem pretty cheap, it seems like it would be good, right? What's the difference, right? Why would I choose one or the other over the other? And I admit I am a private practice owner, so I might have some bias in what I would recommend. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of value in exploring the different options. And so that's what I want to talk about today. So as you probably know, Talkspace and BetterHelp are both large, publicly traded companies. They're tech companies that have tried to bridge the gap between tech and mental health and make mental health treatment more accessible to individuals, which is a very noble notion and a really great intention. And I think these platforms started out really trying to do a good thing, right? I think it's great when we talk about access. How can we help more people be well? How can we help people get the services they need? This is a very important topic in mental health. And that is very different, right? So the Talkspace, BetterHelp, these are online platforms where you're texting your therapist, maybe doing video. Some might not even be video, it might just be texting, right? That's a very different experience than actually going to an office and sitting in a space with a therapist one-to-one, right? So two very different experiences of therapy. And so I want to talk about the three reasons that I recommend considering seeing a private practice therapist locally that you can go to the space over a platform like Talkspace or BetterHelp. So, number one of the benefits of seeing a private practice therapist is the personalized, individualized attention that you get, right? When you come in that space and you sit with us, that hour is yours, right? That is a time dedicated to you. You get someone wholly present, focused on what's going on for you and how we can best help. You get personalized high touch treatment planning, right? You have a space that's very calming and feels safe and warm and welcoming, right? It really is quite a set and setting thing, right? So you get an office like you can see here, right? A really nice space, very calming. Maybe they have candles burning, maybe incense, maybe music playing, right? It's just a very nice, serene setting. Thinking about like if you go to a yoga class, right? Very different experience when you go to the studio and they have it all set up as compared to doing it at home in your living room, maybe with the kids kind of running all over the place and someone cooking dinner and that kind of thing. Not that not that that's a bad thing, it's just a different experience. So with going to a private practice therapist, you really get that personalized attention. Therapy is a beautiful practice, one in which clients can overcome challenges, explore their inner world in that safe space, learn new ways of thinking and being, and really become the best versions of themselves. It is a very rich, complex, and meaningful process that occurs in that room, right? That exchange between the therapist and their client. Now, imagine trying to take all of that beautiful complexity and trying to reduce it to a text, an occasional video, right? It's just not possible. Words can be so easily misinterpreted. How often have you been in a text exchange with a friend or family member, you're like, oh, what they mean by that, right? Or like, what's that tone, right? And when you talk to them later, like, oh, that's not what I meant at all. It is so easy to misinterpret what's being said, what the nuances are, right? Emojis instead of talking, how are we going to experience that same complexity and richness through that kind of modality? Then you have to think about folks that are maybe dealing with some significant mental health concerns, maybe severe depression, maybe they're feeling suicidal, right? They're having a really hard time, or folks with social anxiety, right? They have difficulty being in social settings or even leaving the house. When we reduce treatment to a text or a video, it really makes it a lot harder to provide that complex, beautiful practice that really creates change. And it really changes the quality of care. And when you're thinking about more severe mental health, that is a really important thing to think about. And that is why many private practice therapists have policies about who they meet virtually, how they do it, all that kind of thing, because it's so important to ensure that clients get the best quality care possible. And if they need more serious intervention, the therapist is able to do that. They're in a space locally where they're able to access resources and help clients get what they need. So that's number one. Number two, corporate takeover. So, as you're probably aware, in the US, corporations are taking over, and particularly in healthcare, we're all struggling with this, right? Where corporations are buying hospitals, buying practices, and it's becoming a numbers game rather than a quality of care practice. And this is really changing medicine, and you're seeing this in mental health too. So a lot of these platforms that you're seeing online, like Talkspace and Betterhelp, are big corporations taking over the space of mental health. This means that therapists are contracted, right? They're not getting full-time necessarily salaries or benefits that they would at a regular in a regular setting. They're often paid very little and expected to do a lot. In fact, I checked the website and I believe it was Talkspace that said they recommend therapists check on clients 2 to 3 times a day. That is a lot, okay? That's a lot to have to be constantly checking, constantly being online. And so thinking about that and how do we keep a very complex, beautiful process that's high touch and a very emotional and difficult job? How do we do that when we have these really high expectations from these corporations and it's really all about numbers? So essentially, these are publicly traded companies and they have to answer to their boards and to their investors, right? So the client and the therapist are reduced to a number. And that leads to really high burnout for the provider or the therapist and a reduced quality of care, which then you, the client, are going to feel in your experience. So as these corporations and insurance companies continue to take over the medical system, it makes it harder and harder for practitioners to do their best work, particularly when they are at the mercy of a corporation and employed by them. So just thinking about that in terms of if you like supporting local business or you really want to kind of have a different experience in your healthcare, a private practice setting is going to be very different than an online platform like Talkspace or Betterhelp. And then number three, you get what you pay for, right? So as I said, these are corporations. We are just a number. They have boards and investors to answer to. And as such, that changes the name of the game, right? That changes the practice. And BetterHelp in particular has been just knee deep in controversy over the past few years for their practices, such as paid partnerships with YouTube influencers, right? Who were then accused of preying on their followers' mental health to get them to use BetterHelp so they could get their affiliate income. They had paid reviews from actors. And then there were multiple complaints filed with the Better Business Bureau over their unethical practices, such as charging unnecessary fees to clients, therapists being unresponsive, clients being flat out refused treatment, right? So it kind of circles back to number two, right? We're just a number. And so that really changes the experience and the quality of care. And that's when you start seeing really poor practices come around. So while the fees may look really cool in the ad that you see, it may seem like really doable, really think about like, well, what does that actually mean for both me and the therapist that I'm working with, right? Remember, quality over quantity is the focus in most private practice settings, but for corporate giants like Talkspace and Betterhelp, numbers trump quality every time. So that being said, there are situations sometimes where Talkspace and BetterHelp may be helpful, right? Maybe you just need, you have a quick question or a problem that you want to talk through with someone. You don't have really like any desire for long-term kind of treatment or anything like that, and it's more of a coaching kind of conversation, then it might be helpful. But overall, I would really urge you to think about, what am I trying to get out of my therapeutic experience? What is it that I need from my therapy? What are my goals for my mental health and wellness? And really, who is the best person to help with me with that? With private practices, you get to do often free consultation calls. You get a real chance to feel out that therapist and make sure that they are the right fit. And you don't necessarily get that on some of these bigger kind of corporate sites. So again, just thinking about what is it that I want, how would a therapist help me get there? What are the qualities that I'm seeking? What does a good counseling experience feel like to me? What sort of service am I seeking, right? What sort of specialty am I seeking? And then think about who would be best to provide that for you. So I hope that was helpful. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or concerns, jamie@jamiemolnar.com, or you can reach the practice at info@bybsandthrive.com. Check us out on Instagram. We're over there always sharing content as well. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much. Bye.